had your big show?
I had my big
And
show
now?
already. It turned out really well.
Are we live? Now we're live. We need to do the, we're done. We're live. We're live. Here, believe it or not, we're not only live for each other to see, but we are live for the people that are online with us to see and to be with us today. So thank you, God, for all these technical tools that bring us together in many ways we could never have imagined a few years ago, right? That one of the gifts of COVID, which brought us many things. So today it's April 19th. No,
No, the
No,
26th.
it's April 26th.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
And this is that's gone fast. This is the third of our series in prosperity lessons by Reverend Director Ruella and Nancy Zalazar. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm hoping that they will do more. They do such a great job together. And today they're going to talk about tithing. I want to say, if you haven't tried it, it is the most incredible, miraculous thing to do for yourself as well as for other people or other organizations. And so tithing is something that as soon as I heard about it, when I joined Unity, I started doing it. And I find that when I'm feeling tight with money, if I tithe more, the money issues generally go away. Has anybody else had that?
I'm just curious, does it work with just buying a random pair of shoes or something?
No!
Oh!
It does not work with buying
I'm
It is
tight with
not
money,
about
so
shopping,
let's buy
unfortunately,
shoes.
because I do love shopping, but shopping is not tithing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for the clarification.
Thanks for the humor, Julie. You are very good at that. So we are ready for our first song of the day, which is Count Your Blessings.
All right.
And that works because it puts your mind on the positive rather than the lack, right? And what you put your mind on multiplies. So we're going to get more lessons in prosperity today. Let us pray. I invite you to let my words be your words. The law says you reap what you sow. but not always from the same field. However, what we give out in thoughts, in words, in actions, in money, whatever we put out, we plant, and we get to harvest or reap it back. For it comes back to us in many forms. Today, I pay attention to what I give out. I pay attention to my thoughts. And I work on making them positive. I pay attention to the words that I share with others. Again, wanting them to be something that I would want to receive. I pay attention to the actions that I do to help others around me. And I pay attention to the way I share my wealth, my money, my giving. And I pay attention to receiving, opening my mind and my heart to receive people as they are. Opening my mind and heart to receive the gifts that people around me want to give me and that the universe is granting me. I say yes in many forms to God. And I find my life is full of abundant life in many ways. And I say, thank you, God. And so it is. Amen and amen. And now, let us share and sing the Lord's Prayer. We are gifted today by food that has been brought by a number of people that are a part of our community, church community, and so we give thanks to all of you who have signed up to bring things or just brought things, and to you who come and join us for our food and fun and conversation together after our services. Today we have another class by Drac and Nancy on prosperity. I know they've got a ritual set up for us, and I'm excited to see how that unfolds. I invite you to stay and be with us, those of you that are physically present. Today we're having a fundraiser for our sky breathing teachers, including Nancy. And their budget was cut from our school system because every budget was cut from our school system. So we want to support them, and so there's going to be a charity event at Diamond Palace in Diamond Bar. It's near Pomona, and it's tonight 4:30 to 9 o'clock, and there's dinner and dancing and karaoke and all kinds of fun things. So I don't know, Nancy, do you have anything else to share about that?
No, it'll be fun and it'll be tasty, so come and join.
Yes. So please come and join in the fun.
And if you can't come, there's a QR code that we can put it up maybe next week. If you want to donate any amount, it's helpful, so.
Okay, that would be, yes, any amount would be good. So I'm planning to have a nice dinner and dance tonight. Probably no karaoke. So meditation is back on again this week. I'm back from my 3-day trip up the coast and back to San Francisco, and where I stayed with wonderful old childhood friends for 2 nights, and now I'm back and ready to go. And so meditation will be on Zoom again, 4:30 to 5:30 on Wednesday. On Thursday, several of our city council members in Pomona are creating this Dia del Niño, and they have asked us to have tables, and Jackie and I worked on tables for Unity information to share. I would love to have some people help me with that. We also have Compassionate Pomona information that we're going to give out. And also, I think, is Sky Breathing going to be there, Nancy? Do you know?
I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. I mean,
Maybe.
even if you give me the information to pass out, that would be something.
Okay, that would be good.
But it would be good to have people know about Sky
Yes.
Breathing.
Yes.
And this is a thing for kids, so if you can help with that, please let me know. I got a thing in my mail about Sky Breathwork meditation, and it is the first, second, and third. Is that still on, Nancy?
Yeah, that's an online.
It's online, but I think we can do it. She said we can share it. So I invite you to take a picture of that. Go on if you are interested, and I highly recommend this for any kind of stress and also just for creating a better life. So there is that coming up. And our 7 o'clock class book study is going to be at 7:30 because of the Dia del Niño. So I'll move it back a half an hour so I can be there for you who are in the class. The Lions are well known for their visual screening and helping people get glasses. And there is one in Chino on next Saturday, May 2nd, and Sunday, May 3rd, from 8 a.m. to 2 at the Chino Community Building. I would recommend getting there early if you plan to go, because the lines get very long, apparently. Compassionate Pomona will meet next Thursday, May 2nd. Is that May 7th? Is that next Thursday? It's not next Thursday, it's in 2 weeks. And then we continue to collect things for the Claremont UCC Church and for our community schools in Pomona. And again, it is always good to remember peace. So if we all remember peace at 1 p.m. in the U.S., we are seeing peace manifesting. And we are seeing some little hints of peace. Some of the violence has stopped in the Middle East, at least for a while. So let us continue to see that happening and unfolding. Our good all comes from the one, and so let us share the affirmation together that is on the screen. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all I am has a basket and is willing to pass it to us. So thank
Next
you.
Saturday at the Methodist Church, my women's choir will be presenting a little short, fun, little, it's called Temptations. So songs about Danishes,
Danish.
jewels, men.
Lots
So,
of temptations.
yeah.
Temptations take lots of forms.
Yeah,
Good for you, Julie. That sounds like
yeah.
quite a, what time is it?
At 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock next Saturday
Yep.
at the Upland Methodist
Methodist Church.
Church.
It's in the courtyard
Okay.
outside.
Oh, it's outside?
Yeah, it's gonna be outside in the courtyard.
Well, how much fun is
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I invite Jackie Morrison, our board president, to come up now and to read her favorite Unity publication, The Daily Word. Come on up, Jackie. Oh, let me move that chair. It needs to be quite a bit.
Helps. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
The word for today is blessed. I am blessed with peace, calm, and the love of God. Together. I am blessed with peace, calm, and the love of God. Today, if someone asks me how I am, I will smile and respond, I am blessed. This simple declaration will set the tone for the day, encouraging me to notice blessings large and small, especially the little things I may take for granted. I will also be mindful that God is the source of all my blessings. I find my greatest blessing is in grounding myself in God's grace. It brings me peace, calms my fears, and is a bright guiding light in dark and difficult times. In the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus described the blessings of life, reminding those gathered that the truest wealth is not measured by money and power. I take those words to heart and feel deeply grateful. I am spiritually blessed, enriched by God's unwavering love. And from Matthew 5:8, blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God.
Thank you, Jackie. So now we get to sing one of Jackie's favorite songs, and mine, Use Me. So if you want to stand, you're welcome to stand.
Use
my eyes and brought a banner into this church that Jackie made. So at this time, I'm turning the service over to Drac and Nancy, Reverend Drac Truella and Nancy Salazar, for our prosperity lesson today. Giving for growth, the threefold practice of tithing. Come on down.
That's why I think I'm coming up. I have to go up the stairs.
You have to, you two have to come up. I have to go down. Thank you.
When you're short, these things matter.
Jen, you and Zach matching colors today. Look
Are
at
we are matching. Look at this. And we didn't even gold and
I know.
teal.
How did
Okay.
that happen? I won't touch it. I've learned don't touch it. Thank you. And we can just close out of that other one if you want, because I've got everything we need just to wrap up the rest of the service. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, there's a guy who during his morning prayers, in fact, he often would do this, he'd bring some pretty deep questions to God, and he'd ask things, and he was trying to explore and learn more about the world. And this one particular morning, he was asking God in prayer, he said, God, how long is 1,000,000 years to you? And God answered, 1,000,000 years is like a second. And then the man asked, so how much is $1,000,000 to you? And the answer was, well, it's like a penny. The man thought he saw an opportunity and said, God, can I have a penny? And then the divine answered, sure, in just a second. In Matthew it says, ask and it shall be given to you. Seek and ye shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. In a second.
Yes.
In a second. I just laugh at that because, you know, when I've talked to Spirit about things or asked for things or said I wanted something to shift in my life, I had a friend who once laughed and said after I did, and it happened, but not the way I thought, they said, sometimes you got to pray and duck.
Yeah.
It doesn't always show up the way you think it will, but it's always bound to do that. And there's many growth opportunities involved.
Yeah.
It really is. And that's a big part of what I'm going to talk about today, because I'll be talking about the threefold practice of tithing. And I think everybody in this room has probably heard about it in some way, shape, or form. These three aspects of tithing. And for those of us who have, and I include myself in it, what's going to be slightly different about some of this today is just the perspective and the energy behind what these three things are. This is my first talk I've ever done on tithing, and there's a reason that I'm a little bit shy to admit to, and that's because I've carried around a lot of like negative energy around tithing. There's a stigma to it for me, and I know some of this started with my own childhood being raised Catholic. It was just an obligatory thing. In the Catholic Church, you're required to tithe 10% of your income, or you're not really a member. So I didn't have much energy around that growing up. To me, there was just no energy. It was just what you did. It was just an obligation. It was just a rote thing. But where my energy came in for me later in life was when I was a part of a church called Living Enrichment Center in Gresham, Oregon. It was a really neat, independent, New Thought church. And the minister is very talented. I think she has another thing she's doing now. She's quite remarkable. Reverend Mary Mann Morrissey. And
Oh, yeah.
but she got into some stuff her and her husband around money. And the husband wound up in jail for a year. And at that point, you know, I'd already seen and heard of stuff on the news about televangelists really manipulating and taking serious advantage of vulnerable people. Everybody's heard those stories. And then at one point in my life, too, later down the road, I was taken advantage by a con artist as well. So I just carried my own mixed bag of energy, narratives, and history around it, and I never talked about it. And honestly, I'm really glad I was asked to do this, because in reading this guy's book that we've been basing all of this on, I'll just hold it up, Ken Daigle's Unapologetic Manifestation book, it's really been helpful for me to look at it with a different perspective. And I thought I already was, and I will say I was. I've had a lot of healing around it, but there was still some stuff in there I wasn't really aware of. So this has been good for me. And I imagine for some of you in this room too, it might be good for you too, for some similar reasons. So we'll go on this little journey together. I'm just going to talk about the threefold practice of tithing before Nancy comes up. Ken Daigle, I really like the way he put this. He said that money, once it's viewed as God in action, it becomes a really dynamic tool for both spiritual and material growth. I thought that's really neat, a dynamic tool. I like that. The one thing that really struck me that he said, and I've thought about this quite a bit, was that the question to ask yourself when it comes to tithing is, where do I want to foster good in the world? Where do I want to foster good in the world? Because there are so many things you can tithe to in so many different ways you can. And ultimately what this is about is where we want to place our energy to foster good in this world. Where do you want to do that? Tithing is a catalyst for transformation. Really, that's the bottom line, no matter how you choose to do it. Because he put it as, it's a spiritual practice that allows us to align with the principles of abundance and co-create a life that fulfills our highest aspiration. And when you set your intention to do that, you're bound to go through a journey of growth. It's going to challenge old ways of thinking and doing things. Because it's about growth, and that's just the natural part of growth. So it's going to take you on a journey. He said, tithing is a catalyst for transformation. When we engage in the practices of tithing our time, talent, and treasure, we open ourselves to a deeper understanding of our purpose and potential. Because when you start doing it, it opens up relationships you may not have had before. It opens up opportunities to learn things you might not have known before. It forces you maybe to challenge some things you might feel a little nervous around because you haven't tithed maybe money before or volunteered in that way before. It does that, and it opens up amazing things. And I've got my own personal story on that too that I'll tell later. So I'm going to start out with the first part of tithing that you've heard of, some of us have, and that's tithing time. Now, I had this totally wrong. I didn't understand what it was. So with each one of these, I just put how he defines it because I had a different idea of what it was. It's dedicating a portion of your day or week to spiritual activities. That's what it actually is. When you shift, and what this is going to do, it's going to shift your understanding of time from something to be managed to a sacred tool of growth. I thought tithing my time was just giving my time to people and helping out and stuff. And it can be that too, don't get me wrong. That's profoundly spiritual as well. But I never sat down and thought about the profound act of tithing to your own being spiritually so that you can unfold and be a tithe and have this energy move through you to others in the world, to do your good and reach your highest potential. Prayer and meditation, of course, is one we all know about. Reading personal growth books and spiritual growth books, that's another way of tithing to yourself, to develop yourself. And participating in classes like we're going to do after this, some of us are going to do. That is a way of investing into your spiritual development so that you invest in the world more effectively doing your good. I didn't know this. So it's an investment in your personal and spiritual growth. Because ultimately there is no private good. your good is ultimately going to impact the good of the world. So I like the way he said it will ultimately shine light upon our hidden parts of our consciousness, encourage shadow work, and lead to powerful healing. He said that too, and I thought that's very true because it has for me. Now the next one, and this is the one where I've had some really amazing work in my own personal life, is tithing talent. He said, tithing talent is the act of offering your unique skills and abilities to support causes or communities that resonate with your values. I really like that. To support causes or communities that resonate with your values. I'd not thought of it that way. He just words it so well. And this can be anything. It really can. It can be mentoring. It can be volunteering at a food bank. Nancy does work teaching sky breathing to people. I went to some of her courses. It's like a gift to give people so that they can actually tithe their time and develop themselves spiritually. So she does that. It could be providing professional expertise in a field that you do well in for others as a volunteer. For me, I started volunteering through hospice long before I became a hospice worker. I was a CNA at the time, a nurse's assistant. I did in-home care, and I started volunteering through hospice. And little did I know when I was doing it, I was doing full chaplaincy work. I did memorials. I did counseling. In between cooking people a meal and taking them to the doctor. And I learned about how to be present for people. I learned how passionate I was about it. And now look what I'm doing. I am a chaplain for hospice. So Ken Daigle said, this practice allows you to use your talents in ways that create a positive change while deepening your own sense of purpose and fulfillment. I know it did for me. It changed my life. I'm so glad I did it. And now look at me. I know everybody in this room probably knows about Jimmy Carter and Rosalind, all their work they did with Habitat for Humanity. That man was doing this work well into his 90s, late in his 90s. He did just amazing work in the world. So many people had homes because of him. It just expands us in so many ways and opens up doors for others when we do this. The next one, the last one, is tithing treasure. And that's the one I think a lot of us probably have the most energy around and challenges. I know I have. And this one, he says, tithing treasure is the practice of giving a percentage of one's income. This financial offering goes beyond just making donations, though. It's an intentional act of aligning one's financial life with spiritual principle. I love the way he says that. I'm going to say it again. It is an intentional act of aligning one's financial life with spiritual principle. That's why I think it's really good to be mindful and really think through what you want to tithe to when it's something like this. Because what you're doing is you're opening yourself up, your own spiritual being, to something when you make a decision like that. So it's really good to do. He says that by consciously dedicating a portion of your income to causes that reflect your values, you acknowledge the spiritual flow of abundance and invite that same flow into your life. And it's interesting because I remember when I got taken advantage by that con artist, I was tithing regularly to a community, and I just loved this community. And I actually set a percentage for myself, and I took a deep breath and stretched myself by doing it. And when I was taken advantage of by this con artist, the minister said she received a check just out of nowhere blindly in the mail for an exact amount that she knew that I would need. And she just gave it to me. She just gave it to me, and it was a chunk of change. Tithing is like this. It's just an ongoing flow. The Spirit can't help but move through it. When you give, you're giving to yourself because you're not completely separate. It's an energetic exchange. So you can look at it as a very selfless and selfish act at the same time. But the thing about tithing is it can be really triggering for a lot of us. I know for me it has been in the past. I was raised by very, I don't know how else to put it, kind of stingy parents, especially my dad. His dad was a Polish immigrant, and he came here to this country during the Great Depression. And I remember he was visiting, and he would not even let me throw my ice away in the sink to melt in the sink, because that's wasting. And he took things to quite a level, and my father passed that down to me and the family. So there was, even though it was never outwardly spoken, there was always this energy around. You couldn't waste, not because you were trying to be practical and honor the things that you had, because what if you don't have enough? What if you don't have enough? So it wasn't a practical conservation, it was an underlying fear. So I had to work through that. And I was also taught that wanting things was selfish. So I struggled with worthiness too. So tithing was a journey for me. It's been a little bit of a journey. And I think for all of us, there's some special story in it for us where it's a journey. And that's what's so beautiful about getting into a practice, is that it helps you wake up to these realities and move past them and grow. Because that's the way to grow spiritually, you know. But he said, and I really like this, he said, wealth is a tool for good, not just a personal resource.
Yes.
So I'll read it again. Wealth is a tool for good, not just a personal resource. When it becomes a tool for good, it takes on a whole different energy. You're not worried about, oh, well, I earned this much. What if I don't have enough? Or what if I run out? When you look at it a tool for good, that shifts the focus. It's not just about the nuts and bolts of having enough versus not. He said that over time, tithing transforms how you engage with money. It becomes less about the material value and more about the energy and intention behind it, which is really a big shift. It's been a shift for me. By willingly giving a portion of your income to causes that uplift you and others, you expand your capacity to receive. And it's real. It really is real. This creates a positive cycle of giving and receiving that benefits both you and the world around you. And when it's looked at from that angle, it really changes things. Now this is kind of fun. I'm going to open this book, and I'm actually going to read it a little bit, but I'm going to pull this up so you can see it. I like the way he words it. So, he talked about the benefits of it, and there is science behind it, and I love the way he always puts that piece in there. Let me pull this up. So this is how he said it. Adam Grant, he wrote a book, Give and Take, and he did a full thing about generosity, whether it's about money, time, or talent, it didn't matter. He did research on it and how it impacted people extensively. So he said, he highlighted research from economist Arthur Brooks showing that people who donate to charity are more likely to prosper financially. This is what he found. Actually based this on Arthur Brooks stuff, I apologize. Brooks found that giving can increase wealth by up to 3.75 times as generosity fosters trust and strong relationships, which lead to new opportunities. Funny how that happens. And in the business world, companies that prioritize philanthropy outperform their competitors by cultivating loyal customers and attracting employees who share their values. Isn't that interesting? Giving, whether personal or corporate, builds social capital, and I love that term, social capital that pays off in both emotional and financial dividends. Because it opens up doors for stronger relationships, whether it's between two people or family or company or coworkers, it doesn't matter, it opens that door up. So there's a social capital to it. Generosity isn't just about money, he goes on to say. Grant emphasizes that giving time and talent can be equally powerful. Whether mentoring, volunteering, or offering expertise, these act trigger, and I love this, the brain's reward centers, leading to a helper's high. And that's real. I thought about that. I was like, yes, it really does.
Yes.
It really does. He called it a boost in happiness and said that it reduces stress. Research by Post found that volunteering is linked to lower blood pressure and a longer life. By giving time and talent, individuals build trust and expand their networks, leading to enhanced reputations and new opportunities. I just thought, wow. And I did. I started reflecting back on my own personal experience when I'm helping people, and it's true. It really is true. I feel more relaxed. That's why I love what I do so much. I'm just looking at the time. So, before I hand this over to Nancy, because she's going to touch upon some things. I'm really fascinated with what she's going to talk about, because she's going to talk about some things you can clear and what that means. But I'll stop there. So this is a story that to me shows how when we are helpful to others and engage in that kind of energetic exchange, how it unfolds things, like the social capital and those kinds of things. It was the late 1800s, and an important member of the British Parliament was hurrying through the rain and fog of the bleak Scottish countryside to deliver a crucial speech. Still miles from his destination, his carriage was forced off the road, its wheels plunging axle deep in the mud. Try as they might, the horse and driver could not move the carriage. So important was his speech that even the aristocratic Englishman, in his formal attire, gave a hand. But it was no use. The carriage wouldn't budge. A young Scottish farm boy happened to be driving a team of horses past the distraught parliamentarian and volunteered to help pull the carriage loose. After much effort and considerable exertion, the carriage was finally pulled free. When the boy steadfastly refused to take any money for his help or for his clothes, which were torn and dirty from the ordeal, the Englishman asked him what he wanted to be when he grew up. "A doctor, sir. I want to be a doctor," was the reply. The gentleman was so impressed with the boy and so grateful for his kindness that he said, "Well, I want to help." And surely enough, he kept his word. Through his generosity, he made it possible for the young lad to attend the university. More than 50 years later, Winston Churchill became dangerously ill with pneumonia while in Morocco. His life was saved by a new wonder drug called penicillin, which had been discovered a few years earlier by a Scottish-born physician, Sir Alexander Fleming.
Yeah.
Fleming was the farm boy who helped the member of Parliament on that dark and rainy night. God, that shakes me up. I don't know why.
Wow.
Gives me goosebumps. On that dark and rainy night in Scotland half a century before. The member of Parliament? None other than Winston Churchill's father, Randolph. Wow.
Wow.
So I tell that story and I get goosebumps telling it because no act of kindness, as I look at acts of kindness as a tithe to humanity, no act of kindness, no tithe, no anything is ever too small or too insignificant. You don't know energetically where that's going to go. But it always goes somewhere. And it always goes for the good. So I'm going to stop here. And I'm quite excited about what she's going to talk about. And before you start too, the next slide on here is set for you.
Okay.
This is how I did it.
Okay, so I just press. Press.
Not this one.
Okay.
I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing.
It's okay.
First one of them.
Thank you.
I'm such a help.
Thanks for preparing that for me.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one.
Hello, friends.
Hi, Nancy.
So actually, as Drax said, it has been a wonderful journey to be able to share these thoughts with you guys, because as he said, it's a journey, right? We're on a path of evolution and constantly expanding and hopefully starting again as often as we can. So what I wanted to share today about tithing is a few ideas that come from the Vedic tradition or yogic philosophy around tithing, right? So the father of yoga was named Patanjali. And in Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, there are these sort of guidelines for ethics called the yamas. And there are 5 guidelines. I'm going to touch on 2 of them, but the 5 are ahimsa, which is non-harming, satya, which is truthfulness, asteya, which is non-stealing, brahmacharya, which means to like manage the senses and live life kind of inward in a spiritual sense, not overly emphasizing the bodily senses, and then aparigraha, which is non-possessiveness. So I'm going to touch on 2. One is called asteya, which is non-stealing. So asteya, the actual sutra says this: to one established in non-stealing, all wealth comes. So what does that mean, non-stealing? Obviously, we're probably not stealing. I mean that's also possible, but it means don't steal people's time by being late. Don't steal others' ideas. Don't steal energy from yourself, like be present. Because if you're not present, then you're stealing that from yourself, your own life, your own presence in life. And also taking care of the earth, because stealing from the earth is acting in a non-sustainable way. So when we take care of the earth and we do sustainable things for the earth, we're not stealing from the earth, right? And a deeper interpretation of what asteya or non-stealing is, like on abundance and trustworthiness, for example, one who is trustworthy because he does not covet what belongs to others naturally has everyone's confidence and everything is shared with him, however precious that may be. Right? On self-stealing, don't underestimate your own talent. You're just stealing from your own growth if you underestimate yourself. On presence, when we don't live in present awareness, when we don't live in there, we're not being present, like I said. So if we don't live presently, we're robbing ourselves of the present moment. And on comparison is the thief of joy. So that stealing is sort of like, oh, I wish I had that. I wish I had that person's car. I wish I had that dress. I wish I looked like that person, right? It's a form of stealing something from someone. It's very subtle though, because when I first heard this, I thought, oh, I never thought about that, like thinking like I really wish I had that is a form of stealing. And it's also a form of lack because you're not aware of all the gifts that you have, right? So you're feeling lack, and that's why you want to have something somebody else has, right? Although I think it's human. So I do think it's human. So that is asteya, yeah. So teachings of asteya, non-coveting, the root of stealing is the desire to possess what others have, and gratitude over greed. Asteya helps shift a mindset of scarcity to one of abundance. So when you're in gratitude, you're thinking of all that you have, right? And the second one, so that one is the 3rd yama. The 5th yama is called aparigraha, which is non-accumulation or non-possessiveness. So this one, it says, like, take only what is truly necessary. That's like a physical thing, right? Non-hoarding. And then also not to be attached. Let go of excessive attachments, whether they're material, whether they're ideas, whether they're expectations. Like not to possess or hoard things, ideas, rigid mentality, things like that. So it says, when one is firmly established in non-possessiveness, knowledge of the how and the why of your past lives and your future lives is realized. So that's like very cool. That's like very cool. The more that you're not attached to things, the more that knowledge will come to you. And here's a quote that I liked regarding aparigraha. Of all the things in the world, like all of the things in the world are for us to use, but not to own. So happily use everything, but don't possess it, right? So that is aparigraha. And I've taken a couple of courses that are pretty intense with Art of Living. And we go back again and again to Patanjali's Yoga Sutras to like focus on them and go deeply into them to see where are we applying them, where are we not applying them, how can we apply them, what's a practical application of all of these ethics, right? It's beautiful. So the practice of not hoarding or collecting more than one needs, and like I said, material as well as material goods, mental habits such as clinging to old versions of yourself or replaying past conversations. That's like not letting go, right? Yeah. And it also says, this is interesting, it also includes the non-acceptance of gifts, particularly those that might create a sense of obligation or quid pro quo. So don't accept something from someone that makes you feel obliged, right? So it's kind of very subtle. I mean, it's kind of, there's a gross aspect and there's a more subtle aspect to it. Yeah. So again, on aparigraha, release expectations of being perfect. In terms of yoga, it could be a pose or of comparing your progress to someone else's progress. Off the mat, it would include decluttering your home, practicing mindful conversation, mindful consumption, and letting go of the need for validation. And in terms of mental rigidity, it applies to letting go of rigid thoughts and opinions, recognizing that attachment to being right is a form of possessiveness. Oh, I could work on that, I think.
Not really.
Oh, look at that. Okay, so, yeah, it's beautiful to see that in so many traditions, we're all aiming for the same thing, right? To perfect, to refine, to live at a higher, from a higher place, right? And I wanted just to share a couple of stories in terms of tithing and abundance, of which there are so many. But a couple of that came to mind to share with you guys was, and I might have shared this before, but one time I was not gainfully employed, but I was taking like odd jobs here and there. And I remember walking in the park after doing my practice and meditation, and I looked up at the sky and I said, "Can't you just pay me to do what I love?" Right? So then the next day, I go to the library, I park my car, I go behind my car to take out my laptop, I look down, and there are some bills folded right there where I parked my car. So my heart starts to beat, I pick up the bills, I put it in my purse, I go quickly to the library, I quickly get one of those study rooms, I go in the study room, I open the bills, and it's 3 $100 bills.
Wow.
I was like, and then I said, "Thank you." So that was one experience. It was pretty immediate of telling the universe, like I'm sharing my gifts with the universe, and the universe is supporting, right? Another time, I wanted to do one of these courses in Art of Living, which was kind of like, it was $3,000 or $5,000. It was not cheap, and I didn't have a regular paycheck, but I get this check in the mail out of the blue for $1,000, and it happened to be from an old retirement account, from an old job from many years ago. How it ended up, where I lived, and I was like, oh, perfect, just what I needed. So it was very perfect timing for that money that I didn't even know I had, kind of just showed up for me. And then more recent one is one that Jan and I got to spend together. So what happened was, and I'll show you this. So Jan and I went, when I first moved here, it was a couple years ago. And we went to Norm's for dinner, and we were speaking about all kinds of spiritual things. And like I posted this on Instagram. And what I said was, life, it can surprise you. Today, I met one of my dear new friends for lunch, Reverend Jan Chase. Oh no, and then I said, and we were talking about spirituality and, abundance and different things like that. and there was a couple behind us, and he got up to leave, and when he passed our table, he looked at me and he said, God told me to bless you, and he put this $100 on our table. And we were like, no, 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 no. And he said, no, God spoke to me, so keep it. And so there we were. we spent the $100 on our meal and then split the difference of whatever was left. And this happened to me, and I wanted to share this because Jan was there and it was here. This also happened to me another time when I was in Houston, and I was working with a community center, and there were a couple of the program directors, and we were again talking about spirituality and the divine and how it acts in life. And this one man, when it came time for us to pay the bill, the lady said, "Oh no, that man paid for you guys." And he came by and he said, "Well, I really love what you guys were saying, so I just wanted to treat you." So I feel so like life is a game, and the more that we give, the more that we get, and the more that we support others, the universe has no choice but to support us. So even though it's true our budgets are cut, I have lived for many years without what people would call gainful employment. And these things just happen again and again and again. So I just feel like we're so very blessed, and the more connected that we are to that divine flow. In the same way that it says in the Bible, the lilies of the field and the birds, they're not sitting there worried about their next meal. They're not, right? I mean, they're just happily doing their thing, and God takes care of all of us, right? From the lilies of the field to each and every one of us. And it's very important for us to remember, because our mind is so powerful. So as soon as we start thinking about what we don't have, we are creating that, because we're very powerful creators. Thank you. Dun-dun-dun. Exactly. Exactly. So anyhow, and I was going to invite Drac back up here and ask you guys, do you have any stories about tithing or abundance that you would like to share?
And what we can do too, because I know it's,
All the time.
I guess it is a little later, is please think about this right now. And then when we're having a meal in there, I'd love for us to talk about this. Because I'm sure that Nancy and I are not the only ones in this room with a journey on this or stories.
Everybody has a story.
Everybody's got
Everybody has
a story. That's the beauty of it, isn't it? I mean, seriously. So, while you're thinking about that, I think, do you have something, Julie, that you're going to play?
Sure.
Yeah. And we can think about that while she's playing.
by one of my very favorite living American composers by the name of Gwyneth Walker. And it was just simply called Interlude.
Yeah, sounds
So I guess interlude is kind of like a tithing, isn't it? It's just something gratis given in the middle of another piece, of another group. So kind of a musical tithing.
Musical tithing.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
So, still sitting with the beauty of that music, just for a moment, let's just take a deep breath and center ourselves. And recognize the truth that each and every one of us is here in this room. That each one of us is a tithe to humanity. Our very existence is because of this great spirit that created each and every one of us. It says in the Bible, and when God was done creating all things, he said it was good. And God said the same with us. It's good. We are here to give our good to the world. So knowing this truth, we're grateful that we breathe, that we live, that we move, that we are with one another. That we get to be the great tithe of ourselves and to humanity. Because that is what we are here for. And so it is. And with that understanding, let's go the right direction. Let's all say this together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Can't tell you how many times I've prayed that prayer with patients, and they love it. All right, so let's sing a peace song.
And isn't it on the moon?
Is it?
On a
This
piece
prayer
of
is on the
micro-
moon?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I think it might be.
That's so cool.
That would
Piece
make,
of- And just to think that we went around there to say hello.
that's really cool.